We're back here. Hopefully, everyone got a chance to take a little bit of a break and figure things out. Um, we are continuing with Pit Day of Giving 2024. We've made it to hour 2 of the 4-hour live stream. Hour 2 is going to be great. Every time we have an opportunity to sit with Dr. Jem Spectar, it's a great opportunity. Dr. Spectar, welcome to the Pit Day of Giving live stream 2024. It's become an annual tradition for you and me and John.
Thank you so much, Matt. It is a pleasure to be here with both representatives of our alumni association. You know, you've got Senator Wozniak on my left and, of course, Mr. Snell. Thank you for inviting me.
What does Pit Day of Giving mean to you as you reflect and think about, because this is you've been here for every Pit Day of Giving.
Well, Pit Day of Giving, first and foremost, I've always said giving starts with a G, gratitude starts with a G, and there's a reason for that. So Pit Day of Giving is always for me a day of gratitude first, and thanking people for all the gifts that they've given us over the years, some of them decades. And quite frankly, the gifts are not just by way of the money that people send today, which I hope you all do. I hope you all support us. The gifts are much more than just money. They come by way of people giving their time, people giving their energy, commitment, their love for UPJ, supporting us, being at our athletic events where we just won the PSAC Wrestling Championship for the umpteenth time. So Pit Day of Giving is a day for gratitude and a day to appreciate and thank those who have given to us, those who are planning to give, and we hope you are if you haven't, and those who really just over the years have supported us with their time and their talent and by being great representatives of UPJ out there in the world.
I think that's a great sentiment. I often talk about time, talent, and treasure, and there's a lot of ways to give back to the Pitt Johnstown community, and it's time, it's talent, and today is treasure, and it can be as little as $5. I just want to remind people of the webpage upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. PDOG will get you to both the live stream if you wanted to share that to friends and family, as well as the actual donation page where you can go and pick the page that you or the location you want your money to go. For $5 and up, you would be on the list and qualify, and it would be, like I told Coach a little bit ago, we'll take $5, $5,000, $50 million, and anything in between.
Good. Mr. President, there's an old saying, if you're standing still, you're going backwards. I've been under a number of presidents now, starting with Dr. Blackington, who was my president when I was at UPJ, and then when I moved into my career as a friend. I've seen the growth of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. And one nice thing, all the buildings, they kept the same ambiance. They kept the same architectural stuff. And now our challenge is not so much the physical building, but our challenge is trying to create the scholarships and bring students in. But we're not alone out there. It's like we're not sitting there and saying we're the only university that's facing challenges. Every university out there is shifting demographics, and we just have to be part of why do you want to come to UPJ? And that's the issue that I guess all universities are reaching out to, and you've done a great job in reaching out to the greater community and slowly going like in a larger circle, to reach out to going to Philadelphia, going to Youngstown, Ohio, reaching to the not so deep south, but a little further south, so that our circle gets a little larger, so that we can draw on those students, because once you get them on this campus and see it with their parents, they want to stay.
Well, Senator, you are our best, one of our best ambassadors and great representatives out there. And you said it just right. It's a time of great challenge in American higher education as college-going rates have dropped overall, and as all institutions struggle for fewer and fewer students. which makes Pit Day of Giving even more significant, because as we struggle for students, and every institution, as the senator said, every institution is in the same struggle. Being able to compete requires more generous offers of financial aid. And I cannot go with this day without saying that in some of our programs, for example, in business, students who come to our business programs have very generous, more than the average scholarship, because of an alumni like some of you out there who built a very strong endowment that specifically said, I went to UPJ, I had a great experience, and I want to leave a large gift to support those coming after me to pay it forward. So now, because of alumni like you out there, our business students are able to benefit from more generous scholarships. And so on Pit Day of Giving, it is critical that as we talk about these challenges, we talk about the opportunities as well. And one of the greatest opportunities that UPJ has is dedicated alumni who love this place, who had a great experience, who have fond memories of the log cabin. Or some of you who went downtown when we were downtown, great memories of your start. And what I've discovered is, just like when people we recruit come to campus, they love this place. Everybody who spent time at UPJ, getting their degree here, has great memories, thinks about the people, the programs, the faculty they had. And so fundamentally, even at a time of challenge, the alumni and the friends and those who give to the university are a great resource that can make a huge difference in providing that scholarship that enables a student to attend. And we are recruiting from, not just Pennsylvania, but out of state. So scholarships help reduce tuition and make it more affordable. And so again, today on Pit Day of Giving, I cannot overemphasize the 2 G's that I talked about. The first one is gratitude. Thank you for the gifts you've made. And then the second one, to encourage you and to invite you, if you haven't done so, to think about how your scholarship, how your gift can make it possible, can enable someone, a younger version of you, to get that chance to go here, maybe study engineering. We got a top-notch engineering program, same one they have in Pitt, but I dare say a better location. Don't tell them I said that. We have the same high-quality nursing program. In fact, our nursing program here in Johnstown is rated top 10 in the entire United States. Think about that. You come to a beautiful place like this, a small campus, and that's a competitive edge when it comes to recruiting, a small, comfortable, safe campus where people know one another. And then if you get supported by some generous scholarship from you, our alumni out there and friends, some generous gift that makes it possible for you to attend, make it more affordable, more accessible. And then you get a Pitt quality education, meaning we're Pitt alumni worldwide, 350,000 strong. When you attend UPJ, you get the same Pitt degree. And that Pitt degree is a powerful, powerful ticket that puts you on the path to great paying jobs in our community here, in our region, in the Commonwealth. And so today, as the senator said, and as everyone before has said, on Pit Day of Giving, we want to say thank you, and we want to say there's more work to be done. We're facing more challenges, and we need you out there. So join us, please.
And thank you, Mr. President. You can see how enthusiastic we have as a leader here at UPJ. So we're asking here, Pit Day Giving, the 1 day of giving that we're asking to cut a check, or a monthly stipend that you won't really.
We need both.
We need both. But there's one other thing that sometimes we don't think about. And now that I'm in my autumn of my years, you start thinking about bequeathing. So there's other ways that you can give to the university, and that is upon, we hate to say it, upon your demise, but perhaps you can make a contribution in some of the inheritance that your children may not need, perhaps another generation of children at UPJ. But there's many ways of giving, but today is Pitt Day of Giving, so, and Matt repeats that link all the time, so he has it memorized.
upj.pitt.edu/PDOG.
And UPJ is now making a presence back downtown, I understand, Mr. President.
Well, yes, we are excited about the prospects of taking an advanced manufacturing program to support workforce development, help our community make that transition to a new manufacturing, and really help rejuvenate and stimulate economic activity downtown. We see ourselves as a catalyst for economic progress and social mobility. And so we're going to have a presence downtown, and it would be to support folks who are looking for some, upskilling, new skills in advanced manufacturing, for example, to support community members who maybe are thinking, I've heard about the semiconductor industry. What kind of skills do I need to perhaps participate in that industry? We look forward to supporting that. It's also going to be accessible, I want to say, to high school students in the community. So we partnered with the Greater Johnstown School District and other high schools, obviously Richland, our neighbor here, Forest Hills, to create that pathway from high school, perhaps to community college or VOTEC or UPJ, to support people who are looking for to upskill. And so it's an exciting opportunity to go downtown again.
And as a Johnstowner, we appreciate that effort of helping support downtown, because where that city goes, so does everything. And what people don't understand is that the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown is an incredible economic hubris for the area. I mean, you have the students coming from the four corners, you've got the faculty, you've got these buildings, construction. There's a tremendous economic impact in the Cambria-Somerset region just by having UPJ here. So your dollars, and as Dr. Spectar puts it, your love, helps everything we can do to drive down the cost of that tuition, helps enhance getting students here. And that's the bottom line, to get quality students so they get a quality education, so they get a quality job.
And I think the senator is exactly right in making that connection between the university and the community. Because you see, I just recently spoke to a supporter, a donor of UPJ, who said supporting UPJ for him was much more than just about supporting the university, which is very important. It's the alma mater, and he loves it. But he was very, very impressed with the strong ties that we have with the community, the collaboration, the partnerships, our Code for STEM program that helps support teaching kids in the school districts basic computer science and coding. We have had the community teams partnership, where faculty have worked with families in the community to increase social mobility. We have the efforts that we've undertaken here up in Richland to make our environment more livable, more sustainable, and ultimately to improve quality of life. And I'm speaking specifically of our sidewalk and trail project, where we connected various parts of the community through a sidewalk that we raised funds from many sources to construct. And that sidewalk now makes it possible for students to walk almost all the way to the town center in Walmart. And it's more safe. And not just students, but community members, families with kids. So when you support the university, obviously you're doing a great thing, and we thank you for that. You're supporting your alma mater. You're paying it forward. But you're doing something that also supports and strengthens our community, strengthens Johnstown, strengthens the region, because the university is an anchor institution which is responsible it has a very large economic impact, almost $150 million of impact in our community. And we are one of the top employers in the area as well. And we do take that relationship with the community to heart. It's part of our new strategic plan to have that presence downtown and to build that bridge to the city of Johnstown.
And I'm going to turn it over to Dave in a moment here, but I think it's important to note that this is an open invitation, I'm sure the president will agree with me, to come and visit your campus. Particularly if you graduated around the time that I did in the late 70s, you'd be absolutely amazed at the growth of this campus and how beautiful it really is, from the engineering building to the nursing building, and what the alumni are doing. And Mr. President, you did a great pick in finding Dave to run the Alumni Outreach Organization. I think he should touch a little bit and make that invitation to May 31st for the golf outing. And why don't you tell some of the things, as inviting people in, some of the groups that have come back to the campus and have visited here.
Sure, John. But before I do that, I just want to make one point. You know, we talk about Pitt Day of Giving. There's an old saying that Rome wasn't built in a day. This campus wasn't built in a day, and it will take more than just Pitt Day of Giving. And what we've talked about earlier, before I get into what we're going to do forward, is we're asking people not only make that donation today, but make that donation every month. Make it, let's go from Pitt Day of Giving to how about we call it Pitt Year of Giving. You know, I said it earlier, if that $5, $10, $20, $30 donation, if it didn't hurt today, it's not going to hurt for the next 12 months. You can do that, you know, Matt will show a little bit later how you can do that right on our webpage. But it really, you know, when you look behind us, the beautiful campus that Dr. Spectar talked about, that John talks about consistently, is here from decades and generations of giving. And a lot of those giving in those generations were someone who said, I'm going to make a $20, $50, $10 donation each month. So that's my giving pitch. Let me talk a little bit about John's introduction. So, you know, we want to bring alumni back because we want alumni to feel that connection. We've had, in the past, we've had natural sciences come back. We've had the Delta Chi come back. We've had Delta Sigma Chi come back. We've had, oh my God, the Alpha
Xi Delta?
Alpha Xi Delta ladies came back as far away as from Canada. And we're working on some things right now that we're real excited about. And you can follow those on our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page. In the next hour, we'll talk a little bit about plans that are underway for the engineering, science, and computer science.
What is our Facebook page? What's it called? So people that aren't there, they can go in there. And
Facebook page is...
Hold, please.
Yeah, hold, please. Matt's going to pull it up as we continue to talk here. So we have engineering and computer science coming up. Earlier in the hour before, we had talked about cross country and soccer. Last year, we're going to do it again next year. We did a very successful soccer reunion where both the men's and women's came back. Some of the more seasoned athletes played against some of the Sprout athletes in a couple of games. Also looking to do that with cross country and track. Big thing coming up also is our all-Greek reunion, which is going to tie in nicely to our golf outing on May 31st. I just want to put that invitation. This is a day of invitations. I want to put that invitation out there. If you were an affinity group, if you're a group of guys you just hung out, or a group of women that just hung out, and you want to come back and you want to tour the campus, you want to. We'll be doing some things actually as we're venturing into some of our reunions to offering overnight stays here on campus. Contact my office, dgjj7@pitt.edu. We'll make arrangements. We also have business and enterprise we're working on a reunion. So we want you to come back. The doors are never closed. It's as easy as contacting anyone in this room. It's probably more efficient just to contact me directly, and we'll get you worked in here. We'll, you know, it's always one of those good afternoons whenever I get a call from admissions downstairs to say there's a new student that's here looking at the campus, and both their mother and their father went to school here. You know, we connect them in, we do a little tour, but come back to campus. And that Facebook page and LinkedIn page,
If you get on Facebook, you want to search for University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown Alumni Association, you'll find our page. It is currently a yellow profile. It says Pitt Johnstown Alumni, celebrating our 50 years of being a 4-year degree-granting institution as we are approaching our 100th anniversary in not that long. And LinkedIn page is University of Pittsburgh-Johnstown.
We also focus every week. I just want to make another point out to that. If you follow those pages, we'll focus on alumni businesses, alumni highlights. It's an open page. If you're an alum out there that's running a business and would like to be highlighted, we'd be more than happy to highlight you out to the 12,000 people that follow us on LinkedIn and the almost 1,000 that follow us on our Facebook page. So it's very interactive. If you even had a college memory that you wanted to be part of the Throwback Thursday, send me a photograph, send me the story, and we'll get that up, because that is the connection that keeps us connected and keeps bringing us back to continue on into the future.
The monthly donation, and it's a thing that's long term. Certainly, we want everyone at the Pitt Day of Giving, because today helps us a good bit as well. But I got talked into doing a monthly donation. I was cornered at a donation event. You cornered me, Dr. Spector, at a donation event.
That makes two of us, because I think he talked me into making it a monthly donation also. So he's definitely...
And had a very good pitch for that. That's a vision of yours. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, yes, indeed. I think that what we discovered, what we found over the years, is that our most enthusiastic supporters, many of them, have actually been giving for, some of them 20 years, some 30. And I do know one case of a gentleman that I know very well, just saw him the other day at the Pascarella Performing Arts Center, who has given for 40 years straight. And what I discovered is that, what we've discovered is that the best way to plan a long-term campaign is not to wake up and say, well, give us everything today. No one has everything to give on any given day. But to take the long view, to say it's going to be a marathon. We're going to go on a long journey. For example, we're aiming at 2027, our 100th anniversary, as a destination point. So if someone were to commit to giving, just $5 every month between now and 2027, that's going to turn out to be a very significant gift. But it's all in small steps, in bite-sized pieces. Especially, I found this appeal works for our young, the alumni who just graduated. Maybe they got their first job, and maybe they certainly are in no position to make that $10,000 gift. But virtually every single one that we've talked to about this initiative to give 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, but 5 every month, folks, I can do that. That's all I have to do. We say, yeah, you just have to pay it forward. It's not the size of the gift. Every gift, however quote unquote small, has the same amount of love and generosity of spirit. And that's what counts. It's not really... Now, don't get me wrong. If you've got $1 million out there,
we will take your $1 million.
Please send it. We will love you more. But no, seriously
we don't
speaking.
Need that one at $5
no,
a pop.
seriously. Yeah, seriously. It's not the size of the gift, friends. It's not the size. Pitt Day of Giving is about showing your love. And you could show your love with as small a gift as we can process, which I understand is $5. And we will be happy to process $5. And really, don't think it's too small. What we hope and what we encourage you to do is, yes, that $5 gift this month, maybe next month, the following month, and let's make it a habit as we move towards our 100th anniversary and we broaden the base of support. And remember, it's just how much love you show us, not the size of the gift, not whether it's 10 or 20,000. That'll be nice, and there are many people who've done that. I just told we just closed, working to close a very large gift recently. That's quite significant, but that's not how we measure it. At least I'll speak for myself. Every donor, everybody, no matter how small your gift, no matter where it's at $5, you earn the same gratitude and the same appreciation and the same just level of just enthusiasm for you as a supporter of UPJ. And for those of you who cannot give for whatever reason right now, that's all right too. You're showing us your love and your support by being present, by participating, by speaking well of the university you attended, reminding people, I went to that engineering program. Students that graduate today, they make almost as much as you would make going to a top school anywhere in the United States. And it's in Johnstown, and it's a safe place, and it's a community place. So Pit Day of Giving, I always say it's not just about asking for gifts. That's actually, to me, sometimes people do that too much. What I really think is important is to thank you for everything that you've been giving to UPJ, whether it's just giving to us by your presence as a doctor or surgeon or police officer or judge, and telling folks, I graduated from UPJ. They gave me the foundation that enables me to serve in my community, in the military, in the legislature, to serve with honor and distinction. That's giving to UPJ. So keep on giving to us by your service, keep on giving to us by how well you represent us in your communities, respective communities around the United States and the world. And yes, as everyone has said, if you could make that $5 gift today, make it, and then make it next month, and keep making it till we get to 2027, and we're going to celebrate you as one of our greatest champions.
I think it's telling, and you hit it a couple times, Dr. Spectar, in what was apparently a hastily, very well put together note by Lori about some of the achievements in academic. You talked about our programs. Certainly the engineering being so well known. Nursing, I'm going to tell you, a personal story here on the live stream for everybody. All four of us sat a year ago, and there was a legitimate concern I wouldn't be here for this live stream. And every time through my treatment and my condition and everything, whether it was locally, whether it was Somerset, whether it was Pittsburgh, and an internationally known transport, I'm a nurse. I went to UPJ. Oh, I'm from John. Yeah, I went to UPJ. Is so and so is this professor there? Or is that one? Did you ever have this? And they were everywhere.
Oh, UPJ people are everywhere, my friend.
And
we are
some
legion.
Of the, things, the highlights about being in U.S. News and World Report.
Yes.
Veterans friendly. All these recognitions from an academic standpoint. That has to make you very proud.
Absolutely. And you mentioned U.S. News and World Report. Imagine to my surprise to my delight, I should say, when just in the last few months, we received word that we are now one of the top 10 public regional colleges in the entire Northeast. Public regional baccalaureate colleges, That's one wonderful. Of the top 10. Then when you compare us with public and private schools, we are in the top 15. And that includes the top private schools as well. And this category is near and dear to my heart because, on our campus here, we have a great memorial for our veterans.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we were selected and recognized as among the top 5 public regional colleges in the Northeast when it comes to supporting our veterans. That one really, hits very close to home for us here because we're a very veteran-friendly campus. So yes, the recognitions by U.S. News and by Brookings Institution, by just so many other places.
You mentioned. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. But the recognition that I really prize the most is when I run into an employer, and I run into many of them, and they say to me, the UPJ people, the UPJ grads I hire in engineering or in teaching or nursing, or the UPJ grad who is working in my business, that's the best employee I have. And there are so many employers who recognize that UPJ graduates, UPJ people are generating value for their places of work. And that really, to me, is the greatest recognition.
And once again, it's Pitt Day of Giving, UPJ Day of Giving. Many hands make light work. I don't know how many people are watching this live stream, but if you could talk to your friends that graduated, that $5 or $10 I don't know how many people we have graduated over the past 100 years almost, but it has
We're
to be
about 22,000.
22,000 people. Could you imagine if we had 22,000 people giving $5,000 or $10,000? We could really create.
Well, $5 or $10.
No, well, that would be good, but
That would be nice. That would be nice. True. That would be nice.
okay, reverse that. Giving $5 or $10 a month, we really could have an impact out there in making our school competitive and bringing those students here.
But I think, John, to kind of defend you here, think about the ones that haven't given. That's our 5, that's our 10. Make that leap today.
Not to 10,000 to 5,000.
Well, we want the 10,000 to 5,000, the millions.
Right.
But if you haven't done it, you'd be amazing how painless it is to make that monthly small donation if you've never done it before.
And again, I know, friends, there's a lot about giving, and we want to talk about giving. But I always spend this day, and every time I get a chance to talk to you, our alumni, to thank you for the giving that you have already done. It's important that you know that everything that you have done since you graduated continues to be a gift of sorts that builds the reputation of the university. And those who've given us time, we value that as well. Those who've given us support, when we've asked for support, especially during the period where we're trying to build support for our appropriation in the legislature. Some of you write letters to your legislators. Some of you call. We appreciate that as well. Those of you who show up at our games and support our teams, we love that. So any way that you give to this alma mater is very much appreciated. And no gift is too small. And every gift, when scaled up, has a big impact. And so with many people giving gifts of 5 or 10, as that happens, that potentially is another student getting a scholarship who someday becomes a physician or a nurse or a police officer like you, who someday becomes a business person and a teacher. So every gift impacts access to college, affordability, the quality and satisfaction of students in the experience that they have on campus. So yes, on Pit Day of Giving, we ask you to think about us, to make a low gift. But I always want to emphasize, and I can't say it enough, thank you for everything that you have done so far, that you continue to do by representing us with distinction and excellence and contributing in so many ways to the quality of life in your community and the strength of the Commonwealth and our country.
And for a little bit of nostalgia, too. Just remember when you were young and on campus and all the people that you met. And we talk about the $5 and $10, that can't even buy you a Big Mac anymore. So we can afford to skip a Big Mac once in a month and make a country. I don't think we're starving.
I think what I'm saying is make healthier choices.
Yes, make a healthy choice, because once that Big Mac or that cup of Starbucks is gone, it's gone. But the $5 or the $10 that you contribute monthly to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown goes a long way to the education of another generation of people that would certainly appreciate it.
And in addition to giving, and we appreciate your gifts, but also give us your ideas. I can't tell you the number of times I've spoken to an alum who suggested something. I followed up on that suggestion, and we've actually gone on to incorporate it into our strategic plan, into our plan of action, into our annual plan. So we're not only asking you, and we are, to make a gift of any size that you can, relative to your capacity and ability to give. We appreciate that. But we're also asking you to give us your engagement, your advice, to keep track of what we're doing and perhaps make suggestions about, I certainly welcome suggestions on how to improve the experience for our students, for new programs that perhaps we should consider, for new ways that we should engage our community. So remember, your alma mater is not just a place that calls you and asks you to give. It's also money. It's to say, look, you're still part of this. It's like that Hotel California, right? Hopefully, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave, right? Because you're part of the family. So we want you to keep engaging with us, not just through giving, but through your enthusiasm at our athletic events, but also through your partnership in giving advice and in encouraging us, and perhaps even, when necessary, criticizing us so we get better.
There's an amazing series of engagement levels that go with that, and there are times that you talk to folks that they think, well, it's just come back to a basketball game or something, which are great to see. Wednesday night again, I have to keep plugging their game, doubleheader tomorrow night, but it's also things like the support from the alumni that you have given access to David and his folk, Lori in the office here, and how great they've been to us. The support you give when we come up with Hairbrain. When David comes to you and says, hey, we're going to do a podcast, and you're like, great, run with it, see what happens. Or a bonfire. Those sorts of things. That the engagement around concepts, ideas, education. You had a great speaker series. I was very, very lucky and very grateful to be invited to speak and sit and talk and have dinner with one of the alum that you had. That it's all these different components that are working and coming together. That if you have an interest, you can express and understand and explore that interest here at UPJ.
Thank you for mentioning the speaker series, because one of the ways that alumni are engaging these days is through what we're calling our SAGE program. The SAGE is sound advice across and generational exchanges, sound advice and generational exchanges. So what we're doing is we're partnering, bringing together alumni who have experience in different fields to sit and talk and give advice and listen to young people, and they have this intergenerational exchange. So it's sound advice, generational exchanges, the SAGE program. We actually are lucky that we invited 2 alumni who graduated in the 60s, Don Freeborn and Andy Hovanek. We invited them to join, to come to campus and speak, but they will be joining another speaker, Gregory Robinson, who used to be the director a senior director and administrator at NASA for a very important, perhaps one of the most important NASA programs, the James Webb Telescope project. Yeah. Now, Gregory Robinson is not an alum, but Andy Hovanek and Don Freeborn are alums who helped build the original space program back in the 60s. And so they both participated in the space program as UPJ alums, and they were there with folks from MIT and Caltech, you name it, UPJ graduates. Even better, the James Webb project, the James Webb Telescope, which by many accounts is probably one of the most complex and sophisticated technological achievements ever. A UPJ alum was present. Don Freeborn worked on the James Webb Telescope. So we are excited about the prospects of bringing alumni like that with experience from various fields. We've had medical doctors participate in that SAGE program. So if you are an alum out there who wants to spend time with us here, I usually am present and sometimes interview the SAGE, and then there are students who attend, and it's your way of perhaps sharing your experience and your insights, what you learned along the way, and hopefully paying it forward so the next great researcher or surgeon or inventor or business person could be one of those students that you talk to during our SAGE program. So I know today is about giving, but I always say giving is not just about money. Give us your love, give us your ideas, give us your wisdom, and there are students here who would be very, very appreciative.
And let me piggyback on that, because we're all talking about asking, and I've always heard it before, what's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you is you can use the alumni website, you can use our social media to advertise your businesses. If you're looking for employees, you can use that site to try to find UPJ graduates that might fit the niche that you're looking for. Use and take advantage of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown and its network to expand your business and grow your business, which is what the entire concept is of the business community and the education of another generation. But use the university to your benefit too, because it's here not just the 4 years that you were here, but for the rest of your life.
Remember, it's like Hotel California, right? You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You're always part of this family, the UPJ family of alumni, as part of, I think 23,000 of us, and then part of Pitt World, 350,000 alumni or so across the world.
It's the connection that students have, and John, that's a great point. I often stress that in all my classes, especially my business and enterprise courses, is, hey, make that connection, because you're going to talk to somebody, you're going to have that recruiter, you're going to have that interview with somebody, and have that connection and say, oh, I was at UPJ too, and the interview will change from, explain why we should hire you, to, hey, does that dorm can you still smell when they're cooking lunch from Oak Hall?
I don't think that's what I was smelling back in the 70s at that dormitory.
Maybe that's the one you were cooking.
I like what you
I
just said.
tried
You're right.
very hard, Dr. Spector. We could have a conversation amongst ourselves. Let John do his.
But he's right on the impact of the network. And so that's important. And if you're an alum out there, please, again, one way to engage is to participate in that network of alumni across the United States and across the world, because our students benefit from that. I've talked to alums who've hired students after they met me, and I mentioned, oh, such and such student has this experience. They go, good grief. I was looking for that particular type of expertise. And so I get a double bonus. I hire somebody who is very talented, went to one of the best schools in the United States, and above all, who is an alum and has the same kind of background as experience as I did when I attended. So importance of the network and being part of the engaging that network, visiting the website, the LinkedIn page that Dave talked about, the Facebook page. What's the Facebook page again? Go ahead.
So the Facebook page is University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown Alumni Association. It'll take you right to that page. I also want to, before we move on to the next segment, when we talk about giving your time, we are very fortunate to have a very active Alumni Association executive board, to the extent that each year when we do elections, we have to do elections because there are more people interested than seats we have. So to Matt's point, and to your point, Dr. Spector, John's point, seeing those alum, whether they come to volunteer, whether they, alum on our board that have not only, not only some alum in their company, but the majority of their company are UPJ alums. But it's also, the alum coming out and being part of that organization is real important. So that withstanding, I want to make sure we mention the time, whether it's the Mountain Cat tournament that's put on completely by alum, the golf tournament that's put on completely by alum. Any of these reunions we do, I'm only one person. That board gets behind those reunions and make sure they happen. Make sure that we have alum here to do the tours. So there's that time that sometimes time is more precious than the money that you have in your wallet, and that is so appreciative.
One of the things, and actually, John, you kind of highlighted it, the idea about the golf tournament. People could come in Thursday and stay over, and then I'm thinking that'd be a great evening for tours, and I realized Dave and I were going to have to golf the next day after we do a 3-hour tour around campus. But those are all events, and I want to thank both our alumni board and the people that, John, you and I get to work with, as well as certainly from the alumni side, Dr. Spector, your help and support over the last years, making our board a much more active and participatory member of this community.
Thank you. Both you and the senator have been just amazing colleagues and partners to work with. Your enthusiasm, both of you, as well as that Dave Janusek brings. It's really made events like this very special, and I want to give a shout out to folks who organized the special Valentine's Day alumni event. I mean, one of the most beautiful events, and if you don't mind, I'll put a plug in for that, because you guys did a great job. So for you out there, if you met your partner or spouse at UPJ, we do this special Valentine's Day event where we invite you back to campus and host a really special dinner. And it was wonderful this year to see so many mountain cat couples who met and fell in love and connected. And so that's one of the great new ideas that the team here has initiated that I very much found. I had a wonderful time, and I met so many mountain cat couples. So, and I had a little selfish interest because it's like 2 for 1, right? Each time you get, so, but anyway.
2 alumni.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier. I said, because of mountain cat couples, I said, and look, you met your spouse here. Isn't that worth $5 or $10 a month?
That's worth
just
a lot
for
more
that?
than 5.
Or-
For those
or some it might not be, but I mean,
no more $5 or $10. If you met your spouse at UPJ, we need a finder's fee. We need our commission. The last I checked was like what. 12%,
Maybe 20,
10%
25,
of salary.
yes.
10, no, just kidding.
Oh, tithing. Let's tithe. It's tithing.
10% no, we're kidding. But
Well,
seriously.
David's a mountain cat couple, so
Yeah.
where's your wallet?
My
How
wallet's
much
in
is
my
Denise
back
worth
pocket.
to you?
What's in your wallet? Yes.
on a serious note, if you met and fell in love here, then what we know that you and your partner and spouse have even a household that's full of UPJ love, and we thank you for your support over the years, and hope you come back to our special Valentine's Day event. I had a great time there this year.
And even that participation in those events, that's your time. Nothing's worse than putting on an event and nobody shows up. Yeah. But when those alum come out and they whether they send something to be put on the Mountain Cat Couple part that we do on Facebook, or whether they come to that dinner, that makes, I think, everybody that put it together feel special.
It was truly special.
You
the
guys
place was lit
participated.
up really nicely. The decor at the Murtha Center, it just looked beautiful. And I thought, we should do this again. And maybe if you're out there, and by the way, if you're an alum visiting the area and you happen to be in town for a day, the president's office is always open, is always welcoming, and there's a welcome mat there for you. And I can assure you that everybody who's visited left with something special, but I can't tell you what it would be, so you'd have to visit to find out.
Let's remind folks where you can donate. upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. PDOG will get you right to the page where you can click the donation or see the live stream. That's also a great page that you can share out to friends and family, coworkers, anybody, to get them involved. Let's take a quick peek here at the updated location, how we're doing here. Oh,
So Matt's going to go live here.
I'm going to hit the reload button, and we'll see
Move out of the way.
where we're at. We're closing in on 90 donations. We're under 100 left to meet our goal for the day. We've raised $16,446 from 89 unique donors already. So we are well on the way to meeting and exceeding our goal.
And to remind everybody that it's not the large quantity, although
The dollar
President
amount.
would win the dollar amount. But every time a person signs up, we get a little check mark at Pitt, which helps us financially too, by just having sheer numbers of new contributors. So that's important.
If you're an alum, donate. If your spouse isn't, have them donate separately as a friend. You can absolutely. They're a friend. They've benefited from your time here at UPJ. Absolutely.
And if you cannot give today, then another day, keep us in mind. So it's important that, again, I always say these engagements are not about one day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. These are lifelong engagements. And what we strive to build, and what we are trying to build, and I think we've had a lot of success because of you all out there, is a community of enthusiastic, engaged, involved UPJ alumni who participate in different ways throughout the year. So if you've not participated in a long time in your alma mater, I want to send you an invitation to reconnect, to take this opportunity. So in addition to asking you to give and to support the university, but first and foremost, I want you to reconnect with your UPJ family and take advantage of the enormous network and resources and connections and communications platforms that are available. But also, quite frankly, what I've discovered is that some of the happiest people that I meet are alumni who are together with their brothers or sisters from their sorority who have a reunion. So reconnecting with UPJ, reconnecting with the university, yeah, it might cost you that $10 or $20 today, but what you stand to benefit by being reconnected with friends and people that you went to college with in fellowship, in reunions, that is a source of great happiness and joy. And in fact, Harvard University did a study of alumni and found out that those alumni who stayed connected and who were, remained friends were happier than the general population. So being connected to your alma mater can actually make you healthier and happier. Imagine that, right? And there's a study, the Harvard alumni study. Go.
That's why I'd never get sick.
Speaking of connection, if also the one thing that we forgot to talk about a little earlier, that if you're an alum and you're not local, after you've graciously donated your $5 or more to Pitt Day Giving, pop in on the campus bookstore webpage. There are alumni packs and that you can get, and then you could wear your UPJ and Pitt Johnstown affiliation proud. There's starting to see. Actually, I was ordered a Pitt Johnstown Geography and Environmental Science Department shirt to wear today that will be here tomorrow.
Wonderful.
So for next year when we do this, that's what I'll be wearing.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Also, before I don't know if you mentioned it yet today, it costs you nothing. Every Wednesday we drop our podcast, Tuck Shop Podcast. So it costs you nothing to listen to hear some of those alum. Don Freeburn was on a few weeks ago.
I know. Yes, I know.
Fascinating discussion.
Oh, he was. Yes.
But you never know, and it's generations. We may have somebody on from '70s. We may have somebody on that just recently graduated. And
if you want to be part of that SAGE program, we could even do it in a podcast. Some of it.
We would be we're glad to do that.
And to invite to have you sit down with students and talk about your experience, and we could broadcast at least some of it.
We're set. Actually, now I'm ready to go. I'm excited about that.
It is really a great program. And again, that I'm making that special call out to those of you with a lot of experience in your fields, and I invite people, whether they are medical doctors, teachers. We've had a great sage who was a teacher who taught in the Johnstown School District for over 50 years, and she came back and talked about her experience to current students. So I'm inviting you. It's a personal invite. If you're someone out there with a lot of experience and want to share, we can create that platform where you're not just sharing your experience, but you get to hear from young people today and to hear about their lives and what they think is important and why they think it's important. And you get to see the university with a fresh pair of eyes, because obviously you have your experience over decades, but now you're seeing the current students and you're impacting them. And by so doing and reconnecting with your alma mater, you are impacting the future as well. So it's not just about giving. To me, it's really more about connection and community and engagement.
It's a great opportunity. Just a real quick plug, tomorrow's episode drops with both Bruce and Brett Hasselrig. So that'll be fun.
Talk Shop Podcast.
Bruce
Dr.
is gonna be
Spectar,
on.
we're wrapping up your hour.
Okay.
Anything you want to leave us with, words of wisdom, encouragement? Don't understand why we'd be crazy enough to do this for 4 hours. But I would have certainly thank you for your time, taking a whole hour of your day to spend with us for this.
No, the thanks go to you guys for doing this, for creating this platform. I know this was an idea that you and the senator here, you both developed this concept of a podcast.
He built all of this.
Yes.
Very technically.
I must say at
With
first
my
I
bare hands. Yes.
wasn't sure how it's going to work, but I've come to enjoy sitting down in this with you in this opportunity. So thank you for what you're doing, for your role. Thank you for inviting more alumni to stay connected. Thank you for encouraging people to remember their alma mater and to give when they can and to give relative to their capacity. And if they can make that $5 gift every month, as you all have been saying, we think that would be wonderful. If they can't give now or this year, to make a plan to do so sometime in the future. But as I've always said, for me, Pit Day of Giving, there's not just one G giving, there's two G. There's giving and gratitude. For me, it's always UPJ, Pit Day of Giving, and UPJ Day of Gratitude. And on behalf of a very grateful university, the faculty, the staff, the students, thank you all for what you're doing to support UPJ by your gifts, by your time, by your talents. Thank you for representing us really exceptionally well in extraordinary ways, extraordinary capacities, where, in any walk of life, we appreciate that. Thank you for being community members who are generating value in your respective capacities, in your respective jobs, because that's really what the university is about. The university is a place where people come here, and we pride ourselves, and we've talked about the distinctions, U.S. News World Report, etc. But people come here and they acquire the skills and the talents and the competencies that they need to go out into the world in productive and rewarding careers, jobs that pay well to help sustain a family, and then they go on to be more active in their communities as citizens to help build our communities from the ground up as active and informed and engaged citizens, and that's you out there. And then finally, we think that your alma mater then has put you in that place where you're not just doing well for yourself and your family is doing well, but you're able to give back a little bit. So we thank you for everything you're doing, and we hope that you keep giving us your time and your support. And above all, I invite you to visit the campus anytime, and if you're here as an alum, I'm always available to meet and chat with you. Thank you all out there, and thanks, folks, for you're doing a great job, you guys. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Again, everyone.